Yo, what's going on guys, Arekkz here and welcome back to another Destiny video. Today, I wanted to kick off a brand new series, and the intention behind this series is to take the time to learn about some of the key characters in the Destiny universe, who they are, where they've come from, and what they mean to the world we know now. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while, but it seems especially fitting right now in light of the Age of Triumph, the upcoming live event that'll bring Destiny 1 to a close and hopefully set the stage for the events of Destiny 2 later this year. And with Destiny 2 on the horizon, I figure it's now even more important than ever to know about these characters, because some of them will no doubt play key roles in the not too distant future. So with that being said, we're going to kick things off by talking about Lord Shaxx. I decided to start with him because if the Destiny 2 rumours are to be believed and that Mega Block set does indeed come to pass, then Lord Shaxx may well be fighting alongside us in the tower before you know it. Of course that bit is still speculation, but it's a good enough reason to start with Shaxx. Now let's begin. In present day, Lord Shaxx is our go-to guy for all things pertaining to the Crucible. He sells your Crucible gear, he offers the weekly Crucible bounties, he narrates our Crucible matches, sometimes getting a little bit too excited in the process, and of course, he's also the go-to guy for swords. There's actually some rather interesting backstory to that last bit, and we'll touch on that in a bit. However, Lord Shaxx wasn't always the stay-at-home type, nor did the Crucible always exist, so in order to get a true understanding for this character, we have to go back to the Battle of Twilight Gap. This was a brutal and bloody battle in which many Guardians lost their lives. The Fallen had mounted a large-scale attack on the city wall with the intention of breaking through and securing the Traveller whom they believed once visited their planet and turn it into paradise. Led by the House of Kings, the House of Wolves and Devils attacked the city outpost at Twilight Gap, thus starting the battle. Led by Lord Saladin, the Guardians attempted to fight back and withstand the opposing forces. Outnumbered and outgunned, fallen houses clawing at the walls, they gradually began to fall back, and it was at this moment that Lord Saladin called all forces to stand fast and hold their ground. However, knowing that this was a losing battle, Lord Shaxx disobeyed a direct order and took his squadron of battle frames, one of whom was Archite 9940, the now Crucible Quartermaster, and he mounted a counter-attack. This attack resulted in the push the Guardians needed. The Fallen began to fall back, Saint 14 then led a crusade to push them back even further, and so the city was saved. And while many would think to praise Lord Shaxx for his quick thinking that ultimately led to the Guardians' victory, in military terms he still disobeyed a direct order, and as such he was dismissed. From that day forward, Shaxx and Saladin have never seen eye to eye, and so Shaxx took it upon himself to create the Crucible. Since far too many Guardians lost their lives that day, Shaxx felt it necessary to take it upon himself to establish an arena in which Guardians could train so that one day, should a battle like that present itself again, they would be ready. He takes his duties extremely seriously, as I'm sure you've no doubt noticed in the way he narrates Crucible matches, and he often thinks that the current batch of Guardians still don't quite measure up to the Guardians of old. In fact, he often wishes that Commander Zavala would return to the Crucible to show the Guardians how it's really done. But ultimately, Shaxx himself yearns to one day return to the battlefield. However, Twilight Gap and the Crucible aside, Shaxx is also one of the few old Guardians with an understanding of sword logic. Once again, taking a step into the past, following a battle known as the Burning Lake, in which the Hive were discovered, the Vanguard ordered a full-scale assault on the moon to establish a beachhead. Lord Shaxx warned the Consensus, the ruling body of the city, that the Hive Knights carried Ascendant swords, and these were unlike any weapon he'd seen before. He suggested strongly that they delay the attack, but ultimately his plea was ignored, and the Guardians that arrived on the moon fell by the hundreds. The Hive army, led by Crota, devoured the light of the Guardians, cutting through them with ease, and in the process, the sky above the region turned into green fire. In the aftermath, the Vanguard classified the moon as forbidden, not to be visited unless absolutely necessary. Obviously we know that there's the whole Eris Morn saga that falls somewhere after that, but that's not relevant to this story, so for the time being we will park that. What is important, however, is that Lord Shaxx then took it upon himself to research, understand, and reverse engineer the Hive swords and make them into weapons of light. Fast forward to the events of the Taken King, and you should all be familiar with the fact that he aids us Guardians in crafting our very own swords. So in summary, not only is Lord Shaxx an absolute badass who took it upon himself to do what he thought necessary to save the city, even if it meant being dismissed in the process, but he is also one of the few old Guardians capable of wielding a sword. And until his time comes to return to the battlefield, he vows to push us, train us, and ensure that we are ready for whatever we face next. That, my friends, is who Lord Shaxx really is. So hopefully you guys learned something new, or if you already knew this, then hopefully this video offered a concise summary of some of the key events surrounding this character. If you guys did enjoy this video and like the style of this series, then a like would be super appreciated. Comment down below with your thoughts, and if there's a particular character you would like me to cover next, then let me know. But until then, thank you for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.